Well, that is the big breaking news that we're getting you at this point in time. Bangladesh's kangaroo court sentences ex-Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to death. Well, that is the verdict, a death penalty for Sheikh Hasina, holding her accountable and guilty when this entire turmoil took place last year. Although Sheikh Hasina has denied and rejected all the allegations, but the big breaking news that we're getting our viewers at this point in time is that Bangladesh court sentences the former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to death. Well, that is the big breaking news that we're getting you at this point in time. And I'm also joined by Professor Swarna Singh, who is from the School of International Studies at JNU. Professor Swaran Singh, good afternoon. Thank you for taking our time and joining me here at Newsline. We have just brought this piece of information to our viewers right now that the Bangladesh kangaroo court, for that matter, has sentenced the former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to death. How do you look at this verdict? Your first reactions, Professor Singh?
I think the first thing that your viewers must understand is howsoever disconcerting, disturbing this judgment may be, this can still be appealed in Bangladesh Supreme Court. So this is not end of the trial in that sense. Of course, the kind of hurry that we have seen and the kind of sentence that has been pronounced uh, uh, leads most people to suspect the political motives behind it. The kind of politics we have seen under the chief advisor, Dr. Muhammad Yunus, him being least in a hurry to organize general elections. Instead, he's been much active in courting Pakistan, courting China. And in that sense, this rushed effort to give such a sentence is definitely going to create disruption both inside the Bangladesh, and I assume it will also have impact on India-Bangladesh relations. Uh,
Exactly. My next question to you, Professor Singh, that given this verdict now and given the fact about Sheikh Hasina's whereabout, how she came to India for help, how does it impact India-Bangladesh relationship? How is this verdict going to have an effect on the long-standing ties between Bangladesh and India?
in the immediate and limited to inside the certain sections in Bangladesh, India accepting the request of Sheikh Hasina to allow her to come to India. And remember, this is not a political asylum that India has given. Uh, that particular limited section, of course, will see it as something that India has done to disturb Bangladesh, but larger reality in Bangladesh and I think larger world around us will also notice how India stands by its friends and allies in times of trouble. And we remember that Sheikh Hasina, that had created Bangladesh as a role model of economic development during her 15 years, despite all other issues, was ousted perforce. And just like Imran Khan, the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, she also has indicated United States being responsible for toppling her government. But India, in that situation, had a very difficult choice to make. And India stood by a long-term friend and ally of India in that sense. That sends a clear signal to all other friends and allies of India around the world. So this could be limited to certain sections in Bangladesh, who have also showcased their response in banning Awami League and request asking them, expecting them not to contest even the next general elections. So India had a difficult choice to make. India made that choice. In the long term, I think that will stand well for India. And even in Bangladesh, my hope is that once general elections take place and popular mandate is given to a government, instead of continuing with the chief advisor, that government is definitely going to be responsible for people and for development, and will realize that they need to work together with India. And I'm sure much more stability will come to India-Bangladesh relations after elections are held.
Absolutely, Professor Singh. Thank you.
The limited section, of course, will see it as something that India has done to disturb Bangladesh, but larger reality in Bangladesh and the world around us will also notice how India stands by.
Talk about the implication as far as vindictive politics is concerned, revenge politics, and whether at all there is going to be any space in Bangladesh as far as dissent and protest is concerned. If this is going to be the verdict for it, also bounce back, can it recover from this setback? Is there going to be any ray of hope or light in the near future for Awami League to regroup and re-establish itself?
I think that's true that any political party around the world, if they see their most important, most popular leader being given this kind of treatment, that will definitely catapult them into coming together, even if they had little differences, given that they have been in a difficult situation for more than a year now. So yes, I think Awami League cadres will definitely come together after this verdict, which has several issues. The kind of speed of the trial, the fact that the police chief is just given 5-year term, though the kind of they were uh, uh, the prosecutors had asked for death sentence for all three: the home minister, police chief, and the prime minister. So this sudden and a huge contrast in police chief being spared with just 5 years of jail term, and both home minister and prime minister being pronounced death sentence, again shows a little sort of political motive in this exercise in that sense. And keeping Awami League banned and denying them any participation in elections. So there is a certain amount of political motives that are clear in the whole exercise as to how Sheikh Hasina has been dealt with right from July of last year. And the fact that she is in India makes India really spoiled in this whole exercise
Exactly.
that we
Mr.
see.
Professor Singh, India can't really disassociate themselves from what is happening in Bangladesh. Though they may not have any direct involvement, they are not any stakeholders as far as Bangladesh unrest and politics is concerned. But how does it impact India's relation with Bangladesh going forward?
I think in the relations are already several challenges, particularly the way the interim government has sought to demolish the historical narrative as to how Bangladesh was created, within which, of course, the India's linkage also was significant. But the role of Awami League and their leaders, this whole thing is being, statues were demolished, the houses are being destroyed. That kind of exercise at home, and this very rapid way of building close connections with Pakistan from the country from which Bangladesh had sought independence at some stage, and also engaging Chinese, for example, they also create added challenges for India in the region in that sense. But my assumption, as I keep repeating, is I assume that once the election and any popular government comes in place, they will have to think long term. They'll have to think of development of their people would have expectations of safety, security, prosperity from that election. Current government has no mandate to take substantive decisions, even when they. So once the popular government comes in place, I think they will realize that the partnership with India is very significant, and we have to just wait till February, unless this verdict leads to more chaos, and we are hearing saying that if this disruption continues, the league will ensure that elections are not held in February, and in that worst case scenario, then that uncertainty and anxiety in Bangladesh will impact on India-Bangladesh relations.
Professor, how Sheikh Hasina was seen as someone who brought in economic development in Bangladesh, but now the situation that is brewing in Bangladesh, how does the economic development and the investment climate of Bangladesh gets impacted with verdicts like these, especially for someone who was seen as a beacon of hope for bringing about development in Bangladesh?
So there is no doubt about there is a clear economic deceleration, rise in unemployment, price rise, and so on. And the investor confidence was already shaken for the whole last no, more than a year now. And a verdict like this, you can anticipate further chaos on the ground, further disruption of everything in Bangladesh. So I assume that economic deceleration and the lack of confidence in investing in Bangladesh, even their close friends like China, they have been also reluctant in making any promises of investments in Bangladesh during the period of nations want to ensure that there is a political